Right in the heart of Australia lies the town of Alice Springs, known to the locals as the Alice. The Diocese of Carpentaria is the largest diocese of the Church of England in Australia. It includes the whole of the Northern Territory, a large slice of Cape York, and the islands of the Torres Strait. The headquarters of this vast diocese is at Thursday Island, where the bishop resides, and almost at its southern extremity is Alice Springs, the virtual capital of the centre, set in the midst of the McDonnell Ranges, through which lies a convenient gap for the road and railway. The Alice is easy to reach. There is a plane almost daily from Adelaide or Darwin, and once a week a very comfortable train from Adelaide. Saturday is a busy day, for it is train day, and on any Saturday morning you may see scenes like this at the railway station. There is perhaps no part of our great continent so endowed with colour. Colour so rich, so varied, and so constantly changing that people often doubt the faithfulness of both Aboriginal and European painters. But those who know the centre of Australia know that many of these painters have captured its varying colour perfectly. Every year many visitors come to Central Australia and find there a type of beauty not found in any other part of the Commonwealth. Visitors are usually amazed at the size and appearance of the town, with its busy shopping centre, modern shops and fine hotels. The Alice has a pleasant climate, being 2,000 feet above sea level, though it is hot in the summer months. There is a fine modern hospital and beautiful tree-lined streets and some very pleasant modern homes. This area used to be known as the Dead Heart, but in fact it is very much alive, as these scenes of the progressive little town show. By no means the least reason for making it live in the hearts and minds of Australians has been the work of the Christian Church. These semi-detribalized Aborigines in their primitive camp remind us of the work of the Lutheran and Roman Catholic churches amongst them and their brothers. Here we see Pastor Albrecht, for 40 years in charge of the Fink River Mission at Hermannsburg, chatting with a young visitor from the south. The Presbyterian Church is justly famous for the establishment of the Flying Doctor service by Dr. John Flynn, for which it is often blessed by the lonely settler. Today, this great service is administered by the Commonwealth Government. 20 years ago, the Church of England did not exist in Central Australia, but in 1934, there came Percy MacDonald Smith to be the first rector. Not even a block of land belonged to the church then. Services were started, and before long, an anonymous donor gave the money for the fine two-story building, which now serves as church and rectory. There are regular services on Sundays and weekdays, and here, Sunday by Sunday, the faithful come to worship. Not only here, but in Tennant Creek, 300 miles away, regular services are held. Frequently, the clergy hold services on the cool verandas of isolated station homes, where no other contact with church life is possible. From the beginning, the new rector interested himself in the children of the bush, particularly in those of mixed blood. What could he do for them? From his early dreams, there grew the hostel of St. John the Baptist, adjoining the church. To this hostel, children of any parentage could come and attend school for a small fee, and very often no fee. Here there is no colour bar, and for years now, this hostel has been a great boon to many children who otherwise would have had little chance in life. Yet it was not sufficient to provide for the many coloured children living on the fringes of the town and elsewhere under dreadful conditions, though the Commonwealth Government is doing its best to remedy this situation. The close of the war made it possible for the Australian Board of Missions to assist in the purchasing of a fine hostel about 4 miles out of the town. And with the subsequent assistance of the Commonwealth Government, St Mary's Hostel came into being under the expert care of Deaconess Eileen Heath. Here, about 70 children live a happy, healthy, disciplined life. Here they learn the art of living, working and playing together in a happy, home-like atmosphere, fitting them to take their place in the community later on. Each day, the children go to the fine government school in Alice Springs. The boys and girls from St John the Baptist have only a few minutes' walk, but the children from St Mary's are brought to and from school by bus. At the school, we find all the children of the town working and playing together. And the headmaster tells us that colour has nothing to do with mental ability. Indeed, some of the most brilliant pupils are those of Aboriginal blood, as are some of the finest characters. As for sport, they lead the way every time. The summer days are hot, and on their return from school, the children like to play in the cool air of the Central Australian evenings. On this occasion, they are interrupted by the arrival of a visitor. It is the bishop. Yes, here he is, being welcomed by Sister Eileen. No, don't stop playing, he says. I'll come and join you. So the day ends with prayer in chapel, and so to bed at the end of a happy day. But what happens to these delightful children when they leave school? Frankly, there are not many opportunities for them in the Northern Territory. It was Percy MacDonald Smith who first dreamed of a hostel in Adelaide, to which boys could go on from the Alice and learn a trade or go on to some higher form of education. In Adelaide, too, he felt that assimilation into the community would be easier for them. First, he had to enlist the sympathy of the Bishop of Adelaide, in whose diocese the proposed hostel would be. From him, he got every sympathy and cooperation. Then, too, he had to enlist the aid of the Australian Board of Missions, for it was a costly project to buy and staff a suitable building for the purpose. A house was found at Semaphore, a seaside suburb of Adelaide, and so came into being St Francis House, and soon Smith arrived with the first batch of boys from Alice Springs. Here we see the present warden, under whose able guidance the hostel is run. The Minister for the Territories has said that this is one of the finest works being done by the Church anywhere, and the Commonwealth Government has now taken on the larger part of the financial burden, though the Australian Board of Missions still has its part too, and has to supply staff. From St Francis House, the boys go to school daily, where they continue with their education, most of them learning a trade. To learn a trade is a surer way of establishing themselves in the community, and quite a number are already holding good jobs down in Adelaide, and one or two are married with their own homes. Here we see some of the boys at the Lefebvre Technical School, where they are given every possible facility and encouragement by the staff. Here, too, they make friends with local boys and learn to get over their very natural shyness in strange surroundings far away from home. When they leave school, few of them want to return to the Territory, however, as they are fully aware that a brighter future awaits them in the south. These young men do not forget St Francis House, and it is good to see old boys calling in to pay a visit on Saturdays. Now the church is commencing to do the same for the girls, and at a small house in a suburb of Adelaide, Miss Williams, a former missionary, has taken half a dozen girls as a beginning. Here we see the girls in their confirmation dress. This is but the commencement, we hope, of greater things for the girls. 2 of them set off each morning, one to work in a big city store and the other to high school. The rest will go off shortly to the local school. Many girls from St Mary's Hostel have already gone further. 2 are training as nurses, 1 already in her final year, and this lass has just commenced her training in Melbourne. Here she is, attending to one of her small charges at the Fairfield Hospital. Already she is at home with her companions at the hospital and thoroughly enjoys the life. Another old St Mary's girl is training as a teacher in South Australia, and another is already a film star. Nala Kuno, a St Mary's girl, plays the leading role in the Australian film Jeddah. It is not always easy for these boys and girls from primitive surroundings to fit into their new life, but it is essential if they are to become fully fledged citizens of the Commonwealth. For this reason, a kindergarten has been started at Alice Springs in the church grounds, where from an early age, the little ones are taught the elements of cleanliness, discipline and unselfishness through play. This makes their introduction to school life much easier. So the dead heart has become very much the live heart, as the church has been faithful to her master's saying, "I am come that they may have life, and that they may have it more abundantly." In this work, church and state go hand in hand today. It should and could be expanded. It can be only with your help. This miraculous change in the lives of so many young Australians is only possible by the grace of God and the enthusiasm and sacrifice of the men and women who devote themselves to the work. What a worthwhile job it is for a very worthwhile people, the young men and women of the heart of Australia.